The Ghana National Association of Private Schools is pushing for the reopening of basic schools across the country, arguing the signs informing government's easing of restrictions and the partial reopening of secondary and tertiary schools supports the call. At a news conference right here in the capital, the association said about 9.2 million basic learners have had their education stalled as a result of the school closure back in March as part of measures to contain the spread of COVID-19. The acting president of the association, Dr. Damasus Turosong, says keeping the children at home beyond September 15 would have grave consequences, especially when the number of coronavirus cases recorded among the final years was minimal. JoyNews' Faustina Safo has more from the news conference.
It's been 4 months since government ordered the closure of schools across the country in a bid to contain the spread of COVID-19. Since the announcement, school children from kindergarten to upper primary have had to stay home. The Ghana National Association of Private Schools says the consequences of such elongated closures could be more devastating to socio-economic development than the coronavirus pandemic.
Our clamor for full resumption of academic work is based on our desire to salvage Ghana's sinking educational fortunes. The successful return of final year basic and senior high students to school on 22nd and 29th June 2020 is a case study for the reopening of schools at all levels. Why
result of the pandemic, while others have not been paid any salary for months. Insisting their calls are not backed by any selfish gain, acting president of GNAPS, Dr. Damasus Turosong, says their request is premised on the very science which informs government's decision to ease restrictions.
As we speak now, the recovery/discharge rate is hovering around 89%. It means that the virus is not only being successfully contained, it is so well managed as to prevent fatalities. For this reason, most sectors of this country, you can talk about the political sector, religious, transport, trade and manufacturing, hospitality and tourism, are returning to normalcy and learning to live with this virus, which is in no hurry at all to pack and leave us alone. Our educational system must also learn to operate, even in the midst of COVID-19.
The association also condemned the conduct of some WASI candidates involved in acts of violence and vandalism in parts of the country and cautioned BEC candidates to ensure any form of examination malpractice and misconduct. The Education Minister has already ruled out the reopening of schools this September. The leader of Risk Communication and Community Engagement for the National COVID-19 Response Team, Dr. Dacosta Boaje, echoed that stance when he spoke on Pulse Monday afternoon.
You cannot just say that you are just opening. It may need that there might be infrastructural changes, there might be logistical needs and all the others. People might have to undergo several trainings and others. So certainly we have to look into this to see if we have to open the schools in September or not. But I remember the Education Minister has said that school is not reopening. So we still have to engage and see what happens.
Faustina Safo's report for JoyNews.